This is Nibbles. Nibbles is by herself right now. This morning, just before work, Sniffles and Nibbles were kind of playing follow the leader, except all of a sudden, they just kind of turned to face each other. Nothing aggressive, but next thing you know, Sniffles was mounting Nibbles, which was fine, except she wasn't actually mating. And also, after a short period of time of maybe 20 seconds, I noticed that it hadn't ended, which is unusual. They usually last about 10 seconds. So, and then I saw that when I got closer, Nibbles was actually on her back and she's trying to look like she was trying to get away. And that wasn't quite right. And then during her little twist and turn of her body, I noticed there was a patch of red on her, just under one of her arms. And so I immediately intervened. And then when I took a closer look at Nibbles, at first, because I had to go to work, at first I thought she had lost an arm. I thought it had been bitten off. But I took her to the bathroom quickly, and I noticed that it looked like it was still there, but I wasn't sure. She looked like she was holding it close to her. So I kind of thought maybe she had injured it somehow with the whatever was going on in this bin. But I did not have time to look into it to figure out what went wrong or what had happened. So because I truly believe, because reflecting back in that moment, I noticed that Sniffles had been trying to bite Nibbles down south. So my only conclusion could be that because I suspect that Nibbles might be pregnant, and I'm pretty sure that the babies aren't Sniffles. So maybe, I know that some animals in the wild can sense if the offsprings aren't theirs. And I kind of thought maybe Nibbles was being attacked because she is pregnant and that the babies aren't Sniffles. So Sniffles was probably trying to get rid of them before they were even born. So rather than traumatize Nibbles and make her move if she is indeed pregnant, because, and she'll also need a bigger bin. I'd really like it if they could give birth to a really spacious bin. So I opted to move Sniffles out. So I tried putting them back in after work, but they immediately got on their hind legs and basically they were sizing up each other. It's basically a posture that kind of shows off who's bigger, who's stronger. And that's not typical of a male and a female. Generally, that's only between males or between females, not of the opposite sex. And I'm very certain that I got the sexes of these two right. So they're opposite sexes, so they shouldn't have done that. So my only conclusion is that Nibbles is probably pregnant and maybe a week away from delivery. She started drinking water like crazy. This water bottle was completely full this morning, and she's drank above, well, almost a little over a third, as opposed to Snowball and Patches, two of the hamsters in this bin. As you can see, they're missing only about 1.5 centimeters. So that's a big, big increase. And I noticed that Chewy did the same thing just before she was ready to deliver, about 5 days beforehand. So if the timing is right, that might mean that she's also ready to deliver in about a week. So, yeah. So because of that, I had to move Sniffles out. So Sniffles had to get his own bin for a while. And I'm not willing to risk the babies. So Sniffles is probably going to have to be in this nursery bin, which is half the size of the regular bin, for about 5 weeks, because that's how long it takes to wean these babies after they're born. So he's going to be a bachelor for a little while, but he'll have me. And this morning after I got home from work, because I hadn't gotten the water bottle yet because they had been sold out, but I went to Walmart because what I found when I got home, this whole bin was completely soaked with water because Sniffles got a piece of the bedding into the water bowl, and then it ended up soaking all the adjacent pieces and the adjacent piece of those. And I found him completely drenched in a corner underneath a pile of bedding, but there's no dry spots in the whole cage. So he looked like a greasy, wet hamster. He was soaking wet and shivering, and his body was pretty cold. So I'm not sure when or how long he's been like that, but I got a blow dryer and gave him a nice little blow dry, and he was good as new. And let's take a look. Where are you, baby? And as you can see, he's good as new now. And he even got a sand bath just to make sure I didn't overly work his fur while I was drying him. And he's got extra bedding because I feel guilty. So I gave him like as much as this bin could hold without stopping the wheel and stuff. But now there's no risk of getting this bin wet because he's got a nice water bottle. And to top it off, he's got the bigger one. Because this is a nursery bin, so sometime in the future this will actually hold more than one hamster, more than two actually. But because of their smaller sizes when they're babies, that's why they're in the nursery bin. And also because I plan to be getting those cubed shelves. I'll show you guys someday. But so I needed a narrower bin in order to be able to put it on the shelving. So yeah, and plus I wanted to sort the different litters, so yeah, I had to go with smaller bins, because if I went with big bins, I would have to start putting them in the kitchen, and I'm not willing to do that. Because see, had Sniffles been in the kitchen today, or any day, I might not have known that he was soaking wet. See, when you put them in a place that you don't frequent as much, and I don't frequent my kitchen very much, I would never have known. And he could have sat there and froze to death from being so wet. So yeah, I have to monitor Sniffles for about 24 hours just to make sure he didn't catch a cold today. It was pretty chilly when I got in the room, but not cold, but you know, there was a slight breeze. And yeah, hamsters can lose a lot of heat when they're wet because they weren't meant to be. So yeah, but he's got his own food dish, and I even gave him the log. Nibbles had to share some of the decorations. And as you can see, I felt guilty, so he's got a whole bunch of special seeds. His favorite is all in there. But so far, he just feels content to hide in that little corner. He really likes to dig in the bedding. So, yeah. That's all. So I'm about to go to bed now.